all set?
We're good.
Okay, then I'd like to call the meeting to order, the Swanton Selectboard's regular scheduled meeting, first Tuesday of February, here at the town clerk's office. First order of business will be the pledge of allegiance. Will everybody please join? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Agenda review. Do you have anything to go over? Kathy,
I'm good, thank you.
Christina, Brendan, Steve, Brian?
I just got two minor things to put under, I guess, other business. It's nothing, more of an announcement than business.
Okay. All right, then we'll go on to the first thing. It would be the minutes. We have 2 minutes, one from January 21st, the regular select board meeting, and then the joint meeting with the planning commission and village trustees on January 22nd.
I make a motion to approve both of those, Mr. Chair.
I'll second.
All right, the motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Just one comment. At the meeting we had, the joint meeting with the planning commission, I was really impressed with those planning commission. members.
Yeah.
They had their act together. They were very knowledgeable.
Well, they've been working hard on it for quite a while, and you know, it's really coming together.
We're pretty lucky to have them.
In fact, along them lines, it's any way you could put a message on our board that said, you know, something, these are available on our website, needs update.
And I put them on the website and I shared it on
Yeah.
Facebook.
But
But
because
I
you put them on,
yeah,
yeah,
because of the absentee ballots on it.
you know, have, say people want to review them, you know, because there's still opportunity for public comment.
Yes.
You know.
So when Ross was in yesterday, I talked to him yesterday, and he was trying to get a hold of Corey, because he wanted Corey to go over the last meeting last week and add those edits and have
Yeah.
one more meeting.
Yeah.
Because he also wants to adjust another district, probably because somebody's reached out about housing.
Yeah, I know we're off the meeting a little bit, but along that line, I still want to know what kind of wording he's going to put in, because you know we had that discussion about the homeowner association.
HOAs.
Yeah,
Let me find out.
you know, I'd like to see have that emailed to the select board members.
I can find out about that for you.
Okay, all right, so is that the end of the discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? No one's opposed, so motion carried. Public comment for anything that's not on the agenda. Okay, then we might as well move right up to Swanton Police Department report. Keith, join us.
Thank you.
As these are going around, you'll see the top 10 incident types in the month of January were traffic stops. There were 12. Citizen assist 7, 5 alarms, 5 directed patrols, 3 juvenile problems, 3 crashes, 3 animal problems, 2 suspicious circumstance calls, 2 information reports, and 2 bin inspections. There were 62 incidents total. 9 tickets issued and 11 warnings. 8 of those tickets were associated with traffic, and all 11 warnings were associated with traffic. There were 5 arrests representing 5 individuals with 6 criminal charges associated with those arrests. And there were 7.5 additional service hours, and 2 of the arrests were associated with traffic enforcement.
Chief, for the 5 arrests, were those local or out-of-towners or?
I believe they were all local. I would have to. I believe these are all local, just looking at the charges.
You got one for cocaine sale.
Yep, that was associated with that ongoing investigation that we had. So it was complex. It started in September, I want to say, and continued through January. So one of the individuals was actually charged in January.
And that arrest actually took place in Swanton.
Well, the individual, the sale took place in Swanton.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. They were actually in corrections currently, so
Easy
Yes.
fine.
they were, yes.
Wow.
Cited in corrections. Yes, which is not always the case. A lot of times they are difficult to find if it's not. I mean, in a case like that, normally people would get arrested immediately after execution of the search warrant, and then that's a lengthy process usually. And again, so the public knows, I mean, we don't determine whether or not people go to jail. The Rule 3 of Vermont criminal procedure is very strict as to when we can attempt to lodge somebody and put them in jail. And we have to call the state's attorney and run it by them, and then if they authorize it, we run it by a judge. And the judge will tell us what to do, whether they're released on a citation from the police department or whether we deliver them to corrections.
Staffing, are you in a good place, and are you gonna be able to get on the additional employee?
Well, I hope so. I mean, we're still holding steady as far as our numbers go, that we still have that open full-time position. We do. It's kind of a lengthy process. I believe I mentioned the last time I was here that we have a really strong candidate who is going to be a lateral from out of state. So she's certified in Massachusetts, but is currently living in New York. And it's a lot of paperwork to submit to the police academy, so that's been a little bit of a process, but we're at the end of the process with her. And then I also have another very strong candidate who's looking for part-time work. He currently works full-time with Department of Liquor Control and had a great deal of law enforcement experience with Vermont State Police before going over to Department of Liquor Control. So people want to work here. So even if it's just part-time, but it's just filling that full-time slot, would be a huge help for us, for sure.
Yeah, in this day and age, unfortunately, we need that.
Yeah, and it's just the way that the agency's set up. I mean, I understand, it's certainly now that I've been here for 3 years, coming from the largest municipality in the state to one of the smaller agencies, it's quite a different animal. And we operate essentially at minimum staffing all the time. So when we have a vacancy, whether it's due to vacation, which I have one officer on vacation currently, then we're scrambling to fill those open shifts to make sure the coverage is there.
Yeah.
So it makes it difficult when you don't have a buffer built into the staffing.
Well, then, have anything else for the chief?
Good job.
Yes, as usual, good job.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you, Chief.
Thank you. Town officers report, that we had in our email, I suppose everybody's looked at it. I don't know if there's any update from January 21st, or have you heard anything?
Susie is.
Oh, Susie's right there, okay. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Susie.
Hi. So, there's no update as from the 31st. There's still that one bag of trash out on the stoop or porch, however you want to call it. I will get back in touch with the landlord and let him know that they are piling garbage back up again. I did have a really good conversation with the landlord, and he's, very willing to work with me and the town to whatever we need to do to have them in compliance. So I'm just moving forward. I will keep an eye on that residence and make contact with the landlord if it looks like it's getting out of control again.
You've had contact with the actual people that are causing the situation?
I tried to make contact with the individual. Each time I've gone, she's not been there. I did make contact with the sister, because 14 is there's two separate residents. There's one in the front and one on the side. And last month I had dealt with the 14A, and this month it was 14B. So, two separate individuals. They did make contact with the individual in 14A, and he directed me to the correct resident, but she wasn't available. She didn't call me back. So I have been trying to make contact, but I haven't to any avail. So I was able to work with the landlord though.
Well, hopefully you can resolve the case without too much more difficulty.
Well, thank you for staying on it.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, really good.
You're welcome. At least the trailer's gone from the backyard. So that was the biggest, I think, problem because it was a good sized trailer that was full of trash, and so that's gone now. But I'm just gonna keep an eye on it to make sure it doesn't get out of control again.
How about the swimming pool? Is that still there?
There's no swimming pool, but there's a trampoline.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, sounds like you're making some progress.
Yeah, good.
Trying.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you.
night.
You too. All right, next order of business will be Mr. Tim Smith from the Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation to give us his annual report. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks, Carl.
Jim,
You guys are nice to meet you.
Jim, congratulations, your name wasn't on this report.
This time.
I know you kept your head down, what about when the chief was here?
I saw you look the other way.
Well, we're glad you're here, and I guess I'll let you just go.
Sure. As Earl said, I try to get around all the select boards at least once a year. And just talk about SIDC. You folks give us funding on a yearly basis, as does every other community in the county. Our things are quiet. Is it because of Trump's in office? Is it because of potential tariffs? Is it just the way it is? We don't know. I don't know if people saw, but 2 Canadian companies rented space over in Plattsburgh, rented or bought buildings. Vortex was a pool company. We had met with them twice. The issue that you've heard me say before is there's no space. There's no vacant space at all in the county. You have 2 buildings. You have the former Vermont Brick Building, which is in rough shape. That's in Highgate, and then you have the former Lucille Farms, Swan Valley, whichever. We've been in discussion with them about, and Brian knows, what are they gonna do with they'd like to sell the building, but they have their wastewater lagoons that need to be decommissioned at some point. That's not a cheap endeavor. We will be making some calls, it's on my list for tomorrow to call environmental conservation to see if they would be considered a brownfield. I don't think it will be, but we'll exhaust that.
Is there any grant money available, any programs, Tim, where that building could be subdivided or make it so we could have smaller spaces down there?
On the Lucille Farm one?
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah.
We two things. I mean, you could, there's CDBG, which is a lengthy process. Much smaller scale than CDBG would be that we RDCs have access to the BGS grants, but those are small. We got a BGS grant for the missing pieces, and we use the BGS grants for the memorial building and engineering for the new building for M&T or BMTM. So there's not much, Steve. I mean, if we had the plan, Northern Borders is one.
Yes, that one, yeah.
Northern Borders could be a potential.
So I was headed, yeah.
I'm not sure. There's a lot of fear out there about Northern Borders, about whether the money's going to be there moving forward. A lot of unknown, but Northern Borders would probably be the best if there was an owner that wanted to step in and manage that. You're thinking more of an incubator than a incubator building more than a what's the word?
Well, my thought is that the owners of the building were very good to work with, and I'm not sure how amenable they would be to maybe cutting that building up a little bit if it benefited them and benefited us. But my thought is, and we've done this in the past, you create a building and you have some knockouts. So you have a couple of smaller rooms, or I shouldn't call rooms, facilities, where facilities could go, and then you knock the wall out as they get bigger or something like that. I mean, it's a good sturdy building,
Oh, no doubt.
good location, it's got everything you need.
And it's been vacant for quite a while.
Yeah, about 2
Really
years
should be put back into some kind of use. That equipment's still in there?
No, equipment, the majority of it's gone.
Okay, so they've got it. Alright.
Hopefully it
The
can be,
majority was auctioned off back in the fall.
it'd be nice if it could be slowly developed into something, whether it be incubator space or, and you could
Innovation
give any
center.
thought to a spec building.
Well, spec building is what we need,
That's what I mean,
for sure. I mean, I think to your point, Steve, you have to do that work before you, I mean, it's so broken up now.
yeah,
There's so many rooms
Yeah.
and
yeah.
small rooms.
Yeah.
You have to have some flow to it.
You're gonna need some money.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is that it ought to be in that kind of condition before we really get tenants in there.
Yeah, you can't sell for a whole lot.
Yeah, right. And like I said, the lagoon is, no one's gonna buy the building or invest in, well, maybe invest, but, the decommissioning of those lagoons is gonna be expensive. I mean, we, in Georgia, we cleaned out one backwash lagoon for the water plant, and we had much smaller than this, and that's what's here, and we spent $400,000. You have to pull it out, you have to screw press it, and then truck the water off, truck the solids off. And we had to truck the solids just prior to before you get to Quebec City. That's how far they had to be trucked from Georgia. It's not a cheap operation.
And you think they're gonna have the same issues here?
I think they are.
And you're looking into finding out if that's true or?
Well, we had a conversation this week. Bill Sheets was on the call because they were looking at whether those lagoons could be, some of that, the water and whatnot could be
Yeah.
passed on through to the village. They're not open to that. It's more, it'll have to be disposed of off-site. And then we talked about capping that, so that you couldn't have the flow from the main building into the lagoons. It would be and did you ever check, they were considering whether those were two separate parcels? or were
I
those-
did, and I emailed that information. They are two separate
Two separate
parcels,
ones.
so they don't have to go through a subdivision. Yeah, they're definitely two separate parcels.
So you could cap off those lagoons and then focus on the building. That's huge, if they're two separate parcels for sure.
And that's doable to do it that way.
In early discussions, it appears that it is.
Yeah, because that would be the way
Yeah,
to
to
go.
fill it.
Because, if you spend all that money cleaning them lagoons up, you're not gonna have any money left to do the building,
Right.
you know?
The thing we talked, and this is all 2020 hindsight, right, that when, and we can learn from it if it ever comes up again, but when Swan Valley first started, probably should have required city or the town or the state should have required 10,000 a year into an escrow fund. And then every ensuing business, you had P.E.G, you had Swan Valley, you had, maybe there's another one in there, should have been putting in that money for decommissioning when the time came. So
Sort of,
it's
sort of like
2020.
stormwater.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that'd be a real plus for that area, cause that park looks a little, not vibrant.
yeah, I mean, you have,
And we got buildings there.
you got buildings and, one is being used by Beatrice or Mylan.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there's only 2 employees in there, one employee just sort of, it's a glorified warehouse more than anything, I
Yeah.
think. And then you have the other Mylan building across the street that's Green Mountain Knitting or Calco bought.
Yeah.
they wanna move some of their manufacturing down here, if they can find the help. They haven't had a lot of help, a lot of.
Yeah, well, that, right there, that area isn't too bad, but when as you keep coming into the village, you know, driving
Oh, right.
right through there. I know Franklin Foods, they're using that, and they must be using that for
Yeah,
over there.
warehouse, yeah,
Yeah.
there's another one,
Well,
So-
the park was built and started in the early seventies.
Yeah.
There was no farmland.
Yeah.
Treaty
But to
farm.
your point, I mean, that's, you don't want warehouses, right? You want-
No,
you want
you know, I mean-
manufacturing or.
Warehousing ain't too bad, but you know, if there's some activity, you know, things are but those buildings are getting into kind of deteriorating a little
Yeah,
bit.
right.
You know, they don't look as good as they used to, that's for sure.
None of us do. Right?
No, I know, but if you're gonna attract other outside interests, you know, you know, kinda like that, the area looking real good. You know what I mean? It's just better for everybody if we're gonna be successful. But whatever effort you can put into that, you know, we would
Yeah, so
really appreciate
Well,
it.
we're gonna focus on the lagoons to begin with
Yeah.
and see if we can, and it's great news that it's already subdivided.
Right,
And then,
it's on one deed, I think that's what the confusion was, it's on one deed, parcel 1, parcel 2, but they're separately assessed,
So that's huge,
Yeah.
that they're already.
yeah.
Other things, we're spending a lot of time on workforce development. We just had a meeting, last Thursday, with, all the 5 high schools and tech centers, their flexible pathway, their career coordinators. And FCIDC is organizing, manufacturing tours, business tours, for individuals who might be juniors or seniors in high school, try to educate them about what the opportunities are in the region, and hopes that they will choose to stay and apply for a job. And I mean, it's a win-win if local businesses can keep those individuals and they stay here. So tomorrow we're actually going to raise tubing and dye. They had a maximum of the availability for 20 kids to sign up and go on a tour. We're actually at 22. And then we're doing down the road, I think we have 5-year plan. So we're going to raise Ben and Jerry's in Barry Calabo, Beatrice. I can't remember who the next one is, but they're all laid out, and most of them are filled with interested parties.
You know, Tim, it's really aggravating when you hear somebody say, oh, there are no good paying jobs up in Franklin County, and I'm not gonna go to work there, they don't pay anything. And we know just the opposite. There are some really good paying jobs throughout the county. And, you know, years ago, an $8 a job, we grabbed it because we're out recruiting. And I wish there was some way that we could get the message out to everybody that whether you go to Vermont Precision Tools or whether you're wherever you are, there's some really, really good paying jobs. And you don't have to drive 80 miles a day.
Right.
Somehow, if you ever come across some marketing.
Well, we're doing, another thing we're doing in April, it's at NVU. We, in collaboration with Hireability and the Flexible Pathway Coordinators, there's gonna be an apprenticeship fair at NVU. So I think we're gonna have 40 or 50 entities there pitching. It's gonna be a little bit younger, it's gonna be the 8th and 9th graders to get them start thinking about it. But,
Recording stopped.
so we're gonna,
If you click the bottom right,
Recording in progress.
Well, that's good to hear, because there are, and that's just an age-old problem, but there are some very good high-paying jobs.
the other thing that, I think we're trying to get all the schools to do it, BFA started it, but they're doing a survey with graduating seniors. And I thought that's what you had, because they provided a graph exactly like that the other day. And basically, it said what the responses was that 45% of graduating students and there's 186 that were surveyed, 45% are going on to college. That number used to be a lot higher in years past. So now you've got, you've got 4% going to the military, 7 are unsure, 7 are gonna go to CCD and work, and I mean, they broke it down.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to get all other high schools in the county to fill out the same survey, so we can really get some numbers that we can go to business and say, look, you've got 400 kids graduating this year, and they're all looking for jobs. So,
I can attest to that with my grandson. You know, that's what he wants. He doesn't think that college is the answer to what he wants to do next in life. You know, and he has more interest in other things. Construction's one of them, plumbing, things like that, than he does to go on to college. And I think there's a real big need for that right now, and a lot of these kids would jump into it, but you know, they kind of feel like if that's almost a failure to feel that way.
well, I think that tide is turning.
Yeah, and it needs to.
It needs to.
Yeah, it needs to.
Well, let me tell you, somebody trying to get an electrician for the past
Yeah.
like 3
Yeah.
months.
Yep.
There is a strong need for trades.
That's
tradespeople.
right. That's what I
It's-
told the kid. I said, find somebody who knows how to do the job right. Work with them for a few years. Go on your own, and you'll be king. You won't know what to do with your money.
But I guess for that though is to find somebody. Are we doing job fairs? Are those events happening that we can introduce them to? Here are the opportunities in Franklin County.
Yeah, so the apprenticeship is sort of one of them.
Mhm.
And then there's a job fair that's a different model. It's gonna be in Taylor Park. Employers will be out there in May, I think the last week of May. So and now we're trying to figure out how to get kids just to show up. We did it last year, and not many, they went from 2 to 4, 2 to 5 in the afternoon, and there weren't many kids that showed up. So now we're gonna
I think your timing definitely has to be spot on working with the local youth, because there's so many things that they're already involved with, so making sure your timing, incentivizing, kids love to come when there's free food. It sounds silly, but every time I show up with a bag full of snacks, I always get triple the amount of kids than I do. And certainly advertising, not using your traditional methods, but meeting the kids where they're at, has been a successful measure for us to get kids engaged, and I'm more than happy to help your organization here locally at Missisquoi. In addition to the things that Tim's talked about, they have a Catalyst Job Fair, our Catalyst Job Center. The kids can come in on Monday and Wednesdays after school and get help with things like that, and they're always looking to build partnerships with community members. If you haven't already spoken with them, I'm sure that they would also be very interested in helping promote any additional events in the community for youth to become job ready.
Yeah, so that's the focus, right? I mean, people understand that kids, the college route may not be it for many of them, and to educate them about what the opportunities are. And that's what these tours are doing also. And a lot of kids are better prepared to ask questions, what is the starting pay? Do you pay health insurance? Is there education reimbursement? It's a different conversation than just getting kids out of school for a half a day so they don't have to be in class. It's leading to a better conversation within the schools. So there's that, there's this flexible pathway group, as I said, all 5 high schools focus on that, the tech centers. So Nicole, take you up on that, and you probably should, if you have time, attend the next flexible pathway meeting.
Please share that information. I'd love to attend.
I will. So that's where we're spending a lot of time. Like I said, we're going to Raise tomorrow. We have the other ones lined up, and we also did a tech discovery day. That one was we're trying to spread it, but that one was at the complex. We had brought in, as a starting point, we brought in 180 8th graders to do hands-on tech stuff, catapults, virtual goggles, chemistry experiments, all that stuff. And the kids had mentioned that was their best day of the week, based on the hands-on and so that was done at the complex. Next year it was very well received. We probably moved it to MU.
Yeah, these kids are gonna be impressed with when they find out what they make up at Ray's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty scientific pieces that big that are used in heart stents. I mean, this guy has some top level stuff
I
up
don't
there
know.
that they make.
So that's where we spend a lot of time, is on the education piece, educating about what the opportunities are. The apprenticeship piece, that'll be interesting. Department of Labor's involved, hireability, the flexible pathways. So there'll be, to your point, right, Vermont Mechanical, Pizza Galley, they all have apprenticeships or internships that people, no, the other thing I was gonna share is that, I don't know if it's public information, but there is an individual from Swanton who teaches building trades at BFA. I can't reveal any names.
It's public.
Is it public?
The notice was given 2 days ago.
No, that was for the electrician one. I saw that one. That was the electrician. But anyway, so Pizza Galley is Pizza Galley, Rearc, and I think there's one other construction firm. Pizza Galley is coming to the table with $1 million, and they are renting a building in Winooski for construction building trades. So they're coming, and the individual that I can't mention is going to be the director of it, and so kids can go, and it's they're going to have a boot camp this summer, and they're really focused on construction skills and trades. I don't know what the cost is, if there is a cost, but it's interesting to see that Pizza Galley and others they're not just giving it lip service, they're putting money into the program. So that's good. I expect the individual who I can't name will do a wonderful job with it. He'll run with it, and he'll. I think it'll be great. And there, there's talk that it's in Winooski. Going to Winooski isn't a big deal for any of us, right? I mean,
25 minutes.
No.
yeah. I mean,
Well, if they're working on that street again, it takes longer.
yeah, right.
I think they're done there right now. They're in a,
They are.
it's 2 ways right now, but they still have work to do.
Well, we say it's nothing for us though. For our young people to get there, it is, or a young adult to get there, it is a challenge.
No, if you don't have transportation, right?
Which, there is no public transportation, so it's still a challenge.
But I would like to think there'd be a lot of carpooling going on if there's a good nucleus from this region, and I bet you the director might take a few kids as well, if
They're
need be.
supposed to be paid all the way up through it too.
Yeah.
For people that work.
When I say about the distances, it's
No, it's an easy.
It's
It's
doable.
an easy.
but it's a lot farther Burlington to St. Albans than St. Albans to Burlington.
Yeah.
That's the perception of
Yeah.
Chittenden
Yeah,
County.
that's right.
I got a suggestion, Tim. This being Franklin County, and I spent most of my life doing it, is maybe I ought to do something on the dairy farm side.
Thank you for mentioning. So, another thing we had done, and this was sort of at the request of the principal, Dan Palmer, back in August, we FCIDC coordinated business visits, including farm and border patrol, customs and border protection. We took 120 teachers from MBU on tours for their in-service day back in August. So we went to 10 different businesses. We went to Boucher and Schwanier farms. We did the customs and border protection, and we brought teachers. They all attended 2 visits, including the tech center in St. Albans and North. So the teachers now we hope they understand as to what they can convey to their kids about what's available here. They have a better understanding about what the opportunities are, and maybe they didn't know what they were at that beforehand. So that's one thing we did as well. We coordinated that. We went to Perigo, we went to Med Associates, we went to Ray's, went to Vermont Precision. I mean, we went to, so they all attended 2 different sites. And from what I understand, to a person, they said that was their best in-service day that they had experienced.
Well, we don't know what's gonna happen here in the future with everything that's going on. I think, we might wanna get more reliant on local help in the dairy industry. And there's opportunities out there, and there are some kids that like it. probably don't know where to get that kind of experience. Do they have any intention of putting a program together like that?
I don't know what's at it. MDU had their ag program, right? I don't know
So-
if that's still active. Or,
No, it is very active. I mean, if we can have this talk at another time, and I
Yeah.
can start making some connections because I know for sure there are a large group of kids that want or feel that is the way that they'd like to move into the future, but just don't know where to start. So
Yeah, so I've seen a few of them, and they don't spend all their time on the cell phone or smartphone. They actually do pay attention to what they're doing, and they want to learn, and we need them kind of people in the dairy industry.
and they can make good money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
doing odd jobs, dairy. I mean,
Yeah.
to your point.
Yeah.
When you find an electrician, I don't imagine you're going to ask how much an hour they make.
No, it's just when can you show up?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's the way I am. I mean,
Yeah.
here's your bill, and the bill's a bill. I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta, if you need a toilet fixed or whatever, you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the old days on the farm. I mean, most farms, if you had 40, 50, 60 cows, if you didn't have any help, you could at least get it done every day. But when you got 500 to 5,000, that ain't gonna happen. And there's a lot of opportunities I see there.
Those jobs aren't going away either.
No,
Like
they're
trades,
not.
I mean,
No.
they're
No.
the most needed jobs.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think that's all I had. We're working with someone. We're hoping he's going to build a spec building, and he's interested in a lot in this town industrial park. He builds a spec building that will give us the opportunity to attract more business.
Is that your last lot there?
No, we got a number of them.
One time we had 3 spec buildings in the county, years ago.
Well, times used to be different, right, in terms of how you finance it. And,
Yeah, well, it pretty much, Vito let us have the money and we paid it back when we could, but that's when we were recruiting out of Canada, it was a piece of cake, we could always find somebody to do it. And that may come back again.
that Vortex company, they didn't want to wait 18 or 24 months to
No,
get into a
no.
building. There was a vacant one right in Plattsburgh, and
Yeah.
they
But if
made that decision, and they made that decision to buy or lease 3 months after we moved.
Yeah, so not having a facility here is why you lost out.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would have preferred to been in this
Yeah,
area.
because they use, the gentleman has a powder coating business at former Energizer plant, and they loved his work. They wanted to be near him, but, so,
Yeah, that'd have been an ideal place in the southern Gulf District.
while we're talking about that, I know we've had conversations about water and sewer for the exit 20.
Yeah.
Water's there.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
I mean, we just approved, we being city council, just approved, Richard Cummings.
Yes, yes,
So,
we're aware of that.
so
Yeah.
that's there,
Yeah.
that it's the sewer, the wastewater piece is.
Wastewater piece would be important. If you were gonna do one of those type of buildings there, you'd have to have wastewater.
But whoever would be halfway there with water
Yeah,
on site, so.
and I don't know what's gonna happen with the National Guard. It's hard for me to believe that facility wouldn't have wastewater, but maybe they won't. So that might change things too, and I guess we're kinda waiting to see what's up there because, we'll see what happens, hopefully it happens for the best.
And I did send you the letter, Brian, I haven't sent it to a lot of people, I did get a nice, I think this is big, and that is, having a welcome center coming over the border. I've been pushing for it hard, FCIDC's been pushing for it hard. You just got a letter that was sent to GSA on the federal side by the Secretary of Transportation, Joe Flynn, and they need land from the state, and now he's asking for some of their land to put the rest area. I'll send you that letter. It's probably one of the bigger steps with, I'm not getting too far ahead of it, but for the state of Vermont to take that position and sort of say, you want this, we want that, I think it's huge for the discussion. So I'll send it to you.
Sure.
So that was another. And then, field days, I know that's not necessarily Swanton, but that's still ongoing discussion. So,
Is it ever possible that if they found a site that was on land that was conserved, that whoever has the conservation rights might, or am I just talking into the wind?
I think you're talking into the
Okay,
wind. I think it came up in one of the discussions, and it was knocked down pretty quick.
One thing I did learn the other night at I think a planning commission meeting, when they presented the new plan, and we got into the discussion of Swanton's got such a high amount of land, good land that's been taken away from us, that we could sit down, I understood it correctly, with the folks that go around buying all these land, all these development rights, and ask them not to do any more in Swanton. I don't know if you've heard about that. Who told us that at the meeting?
Was that based on like we're already above 50% and that's
Yeah,
their
we're
goal?
about
So like,
52%.
hey, we're at your goal. So
Yeah, I forgot who brought that up.
Corey Parent.
Okay, yeah, okay, Corey was, we might wanna follow up on that, just to have a discussion saying, we can't take any more. And it sounded like there have been some discussions like that going on, and the folks that are behind this were pretty receptive. Now, maybe I'm just hoping that they leave us alone, but that's something we probably should follow up with Corey, see if he can give us some guidance.
Well, the other option right there might be to trade some land somewhere else for the old Bigelow farm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of middle.
Yeah, it's right there, I mean, everything's right there.
But
really.
that got bought, that's not owned by the Bigelows anymore.
I know it isn't, but it's still conserved.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, if you could maybe talk to Corey,
Yeah,
get a little guidance, I'm not opposed to
Actually-
those conversations.
that was, I think, something they should have put in when they started
Oh,
that,
absolutely.
in legislation. I
Absolutely.
forget each town doing it, that there's a cap on it.
And
Because
it's
we're
got a
paying
20-year
for it.
maturity, and after
Yeah.
20 years, start over.
Well, I was gonna say, weren't you in the legislature when Norm McAllister and Brian Dunsmore, there was potential new legislation that if you buy the development rights, it's only for 25 years, it's for
Yes.
one
That was
generation.
Before my time.
It was, so-
Yeah.
but it was only for one generation,
Yeah,
and then see where farming's at, see where the whole situation's at, and they got no play whatsoever.
As you can see by my comments at time and time, I'm very bitter about this. They've stolen our future, and there's no way to get it back, so if we could just stop them from taking any more. Or whatever.
Well, that's, there's also the poor farm, and it's been used in certain situations to make the farm transfer to the next generation or to another farm. That wouldn't have happened without it. So there are some benefits to the program, but I can tell you as a farmer, it's a gut-wrenching thing, for sure.
Sure.
To have to do it, but I think that's just part of the nature of the business, especially on smaller farms, is, if they're real smart and they're good managers, they can use that to transfer it to the next generation. And that's the only way they really can do it, and stay at a traditional family-sized farm. So, the program doesn't really get used the way it should be used. And it should be a generational thing, because that's the problem, it's a one-shot deal. What about 30 years down the road?
I don't know.
So it ends up being vacant, basically,
Scrub,
Yeah,
turns to scrub.
well,
Thank you.
I guess I wanna thank you, Tim, for being here. Really, the old cheese plant would be a big thing.
Yeah, I'd like to focus on the lagoons first,
Yeah,
try to figure that out,
yeah,
and then we can move the discussion on the cheese plant.
yeah. Keep us posted on what's going on, and if we can be of any assistance, or if it comes to, trying to raise money on grants and stuff, I can't believe the town wouldn't wanna participate. To try to get something done there. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
You know. I went a little long earlier. You were probably on record time for a meeting, weren't you?
Where else good is that?
Well, no, it was an important discussion,
No.
Ken. You know, we really hadn't had that discussion. I was not aware of what's happening at the cheese plant, so this is good news, you know?
All right, folks, have a good night.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Tim.
Okay, thanks.
Old Town business update on 4th Street property. And we just got that today, so I haven't really had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, well, I'll give a quick summary here. The plan to deal with the Vadium was sent down to Montpelier for their review to see if it made sense. They found a couple of things that they would like done a little bit different. So I wrote and said, well, what's the next step? What are you gonna do? So come find out. They basically want, when they go looking for this stuff, they drill borehole, and they need one additional hole drilled and taken. And Alex Gagne, who's the scientist in this project, said that there would be an extra cost of $41.40 to the total cost of the project in laboratory analysis purposes. So I said, go ahead and we'll do that. And then I said, so then what? Well, I'll send it down to them and say that we're going to do it this way. And then she'll do the final review and get back to us. So for $41.40, hopefully she'll get back to them fairly soon. But
So the final review, then it should be okay.
then they have to go do the testing.
Oh.
Actually do the testing.
Oh,
But
that's
with this
okay.
weather, they're gonna have to wait till the ground thaws, I'm sure. But anyways, that's where that one stands.
So there's no timetable on when the sample would be actually taken. Have they told you is there a difference between winter and spring? Depends what kind of equipment you got. I
Well,
think
he
it
kept mentioning
drill
about
through
the weather.
concrete, so.
Yeah, he kept mentioning about the weather.
Oh, the
So
weather,
the
so-
weather was a factor. So,
Right.
but I can check with him to see just when she gets her review done. Okay, now when are you going to start this?
All right, Newtown business, it's got a new road there.
Yeah. Okay, this is actually, it gets a little more complicated than the new road name. As you know, the new road that was put in from the Highgate Road to go to the AOT facility on what was known, or is known presently as the Sholin Road. That road needs a new name, and the state provided us 3 choices. But as we get into the Sholin Road as it is laid out is not compliant with 911 at all. The road that goes from the Bushy Road and heads toward Route 105, known as the Sholin Road, takes a left, then takes another right. And anytime it takes a left, it comes basically up to a T intersection, takes the left, then goes and takes another one. That means that that is not compliant with 911. So we should fix that at this same time. So that anything from where it leaves, where it starts on Route 207, continues up, goes past the highway garage, and then continues on to where the National Guard is going to be, and then further down in the field would all be this name. And then the rest of it will remain.
To the railroad track.
The rest of it will remain the Sholin Road. Oh, here's the map for Little Sholin
So
Town.
this is the Sholin Road right here on 105,
Yeah, that's it right there.
down the rail trail.
Now, there are houses and structures here that are properly numbered. This will not affect them at all.
Then
Okay.
it takes
Let's
a left
You take a left,
on the rail trail.
then you take that. And so it would be this portion here from basically
Right here, basically where
the
the new
Bushy
road comes
Road
in.
out this way to that point would be
This new name.
the new name.
That'd be
Yeah.
good.
And then would be numbered accordingly, as I would assume that hopefully there will be further development out there. And so that would be set to go.
Can there be homes along that stretch?
No, that's nothing there, farmland.
This is all for sale.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all,
it's
there
possible.
probably will be something
Yeah,
there
yeah.
at
It's
some time,
possible they could,
yeah.
yes, yeah,
but there's nothing there now.
no,
There is that short section that's gonna be closed off too.
right. That, I'm still researching the law on that and what needs to be done, and I'm not sure if we wanna close that, because, our four-wheelers can take that road and access that, whereas if we cut that off, the only way they can get to the Shoalen Road is to go on Route 207, which is a state highway, and they can't go there. So I'm not sure.
Well, I don't think you really wanna leave that entrance the way it is right now.
No, they're gonna redesign that anyways. The regional planning, remember? They're
Yeah,
gonna
but
do-
that's more for Bushy Road.
Right, well, the Bushy Road,
And that comes, they're right on 207,
right. So,
both together.
but we'll, I gotta do further research on that and see how we go about discontinuing that.
I don't mind doing it that way, but if we're gonna make it it's gonna have to be set up so the entrance is made for four-wheelers and it's probably marked
Yeah.
right. and,
Right.
You know.
Yep.
Well, once we close the road.
Cause you don't want cars heading that way.
No.
If we close the road, is it really difficult to open it back up again? I mean, do we just give up everything if we close it, the road?
That's where we gotta do research and see if, you can also make it a trail.
Yeah.
You can just
Do
make
a
it a
trail.
trail, declare it a trail.
Because we did that.
Yeah. And,
Do the research and let us know.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happens.
there's not I was surprised, there's not much in the statutes about it, so I'm gonna fire off a letter to leagues of cities and towns and see what they would recommend, but,
So just make sure I'm following though.
yeah.
This straight stretch here is
Yeah.
compliant. The section
No,
that's
this-
down, the down there is not compliant.
This is compliant.
That is compliant.
Yeah.
Okay, cause that's Shoalen Road, goes straight in, basically it dead ends.
And back here at the old Jacques Bourbeau Farm.
At some future point, that other part of the Shoalen Road that goes parallel to the rail trail, that probably would have to get renamed.
They have a building back there.
But we'll wait till that gets developed or whatever they're gonna do.
Well, if that land is all in land trust, is it?
Jacques Bourbeau Farm's all in interest.
Okay, if it is, then I don't know why we just don't give up the road. And
It was
who's
part
gonna
of
fight
their
it?
Field anyway. See?
I mean, that's all they use it for.
Trails. It's just a
I mean,
road.
you know, and St. Pierre maintains it himself.
Yeah, 'cause he owns it.
I would suggest we find out how to go about that, and if he's not opposed to it, it's very easy to give up.
Would that affect the amount of miles that we have of road?
No, it's a class 4
It's
road.
Class 4 now.
Yeah,
Basically, we got nothing.
Actually,
I wouldn't get a name, Brendan, it's from right
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
to here.
yeah.
when
And
we,
their first choice was the train.
Yeah.
it's the name change.
So I just want to make sure in between the name
Yeah.
change and then where it's not allowed to be,
Yeah.
where the problem is, two different areas,
Right.
right? And so if we gave that up, does that, now it's not an issue if we
It
did?
wouldn't be an issue.
That would not be an issue
Of
anymore.
that, so, but this straight stretch there, Shoalen Road, so right now that's all class 4, that will probably change. more
Yeah,
than likely.
yeah, so at least a portion of it, I don't know how far it's gonna go and how quickly, but.
Change to what?
Class 3,
Okay.
because the traffic is gonna increase on that if the National Guard, but
Yeah.
there's proposals to increase military spending, so that's all part of it, so that could happen sooner than later, and
I
so
don't-
traffic will increase.
The only
as
problem
we go by.
Going to class 3 is then we're obligated to maintain that road.
I thought we had an agreement with the state that the state
is
was.
still a class 4 road, they gotta take care of
Well,
it
it's-
until set time.
Right, it's they'll be taken care of from 207 up to their
I
garage.
think Nicole's right, that's already been
Yeah,
admitted.
but if we make it class 3, then that goes away.
Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah, but the state
Yeah.
did not agree, I don't think they agreed, they didn't know about the National Guard. You know,
well, that's their problem, I
Yeah.
mean, they're gonna have to work that out, But I guess at the end, the town can say, yeah, we'll let you use our class 4 road.
Yeah.
We make the final decision.
Maybe you get much housing up in there.
Yeah, there's still some room, different places, yeah. Yeah,
Well, follow
you know, if you were getting something like
Cause
that.
this is Cummings.
Yep.
This is Hubbard's.
Yep. That's Hubbard.
This is St. Pierre's.
Yeah, that's
A
St. Pierre's,
lot
yeah.
of this is wetlands, but this Hubbard lot.
Yeah, that one's good, that's
Is it
all,
that?
that's all prior
So
converted.
that, if you, this road was developed, that's all buildable.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with Cummingsville and Mitchell
Yeah.
housing.
Yep, and he's still got room to build
And
more.
all of this is still for sale.
Yep,
So
all that
there's a
behind it.
lot of potential back there
Yeah.
eventually.
It's a good area.
and then you got the other side of
And you're right
207,
off the interstate.
and you got the other side of it.
Well,
There's
a
a
lot
shopping
of,
center.
a lot of this is all in the land trusts.
Yeah.
I think up to here, right? Is all in the
I
land.
think so.
You got the full-
Well, the state, let's get back to the original thing before we get, otherwise we might be here all night. They give us 3 names.
Yeah, it's Transportation
Who's the first
Drive
choice?
is the first choice. State Drive is the second choice. Or Searles Drive is the third choice.
that after Brian.
I would assume so, yeah.
Well, actually, I would have picked myself. I don't know how the rest of you guys feel. They're basically naming it the way they want, but we don't know what the future of that area is gonna be. That's my thought on it.
That's
You
good
can
point.
have housing up there.
Yeah,
Maybe transportation, right?
Yeah.
Transportation means a lot of different things.
I think Searles is fine, but he's really not from around here, is he?
Oh, you lived in Albert for a while, didn't you, Brian?
I don't,
Newport, isn't
Remember Brian Searles?
Brian Searles,
Yeah, he's
he,
a former transportation.
Yeah, I know he is.
yeah. And he's been a police chief someplace, and yeah, but I was thinking State Drive. That would, if there are houses on it.
I don't think they're paying enough taxes to get there.
Well, we haven't gone that route yet. They haven't.
No, we want to know what the pilot payment is.
When the listers go up, I will be going with them, and because they got to assess it,
Yeah.
and then we'll start that pilot program. Pilot.
Should we hold off on this?
Well,
Yeah, I don't know if any of the, like, if the Montagues have anything that's close to them, because they were the original owners of they own the land, they sold it. The other people that live in that area, I don't know.
It should be simple though, I mean,
yeah, well,
state-
we're following what
States,
we've always done.
Yeah.
It's the first person, the landowner, first person to develop it.
Well, but if the rest of the majority agrees with that, then that's what we'll do. Somebody make a motion,
to do what?
we'll name it State Road.
Yep, I'll make that motion.
State Drive.
State Drive.
State Drive, I'll
State
second it.
Drive, yeah, I'm sorry.
State Drive.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, motion's been made to name the road State Drive, and seconded. Is there any more discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright, the ayes have it. Motion carried.
Still waiting for Long
And you
Road.
have something on
That's all.
Yeah,
any
Still
other?
waiting for Long Road to show up.
I got
Someday it'll pop up. one of these.
just 2 things real quick. First of all, this morning we had to order a new computer for Kathy. Her computer has died, or is dying.
It's,
It's
R.I.P.
5
years old.
it dies and it comes back to life.
It was scheduled to
It's
get
going in the middle of
replaced
my
this,
Yeah.
didn't wait for the budget to be approved, but it's been ordered. Also, Joel did call and said to
Yes.
just remind everybody that February 7th is coming, and that's when we were wanting a comment sent to me on the changes to the rec commission's bylaws. I got yours, yeah. So that's Friday, February 7th, and that's all I have.
Yeah, and I forgot before the meeting, when the meeting started, Joel is on vacation, much needed vacation.
Yeah.
That's, you know,
He's
nobody get upset or worried.
He's in the sunshine in Florida this
Yeah.
evening. Well, it's dark, but warmer temperatures in here.
Depends on if
75 and sunny.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Joel's other comments were that the new truck's maiden wage was
Yes.
today.
Okay,
Yeah.
The LVRT, they've had 16 different inquiries and
Yep.
for plans and specs.
Yep.
Inquiries on it, and that he had given his recommendations for bylaws.
okay,
Last week's
So-
meeting, they called him twice to go over it,
Yeah.
so.
So, yeah, yes, the new truck, is supposed to be on the road today.
it's gonna get tested here.
Yeah, this afternoon.
Oh, and I just want to publicly thank Kathy for adding some additional salaries for overtime in the highway department, and, cause we're using quite a bit this year compared to the last couple of seasons.
Right, we're getting just that inch or 2 or 3 inches every day, and it's causing problems.
Well, I will say, in the past week, that team has done a phenomenal job with keeping the roads clear because we've had some wicked storms,
Yeah.
and they've done a phenomenal job. I mean, I see them come down Pinell Road there. I mean, 4 a.m. It's like whoop, right through. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So they're doing a great job.
And then coming home last night, the roads in town locally were much better than state roads elsewhere. So I'm very grateful for our team.
Well, I see that myself, and I'll thank them publicly, thank them for doing their outstanding job, and, you know, you've got a lot more work to do.
Yep.
Okay, is there any other necessary business? That's it? Then is there correspondence?
Nope.
You gonna break your own record or?
I hope so.
Meeting time?
I hope so.
Clock's
Is there any public comment? Nobody's here from the public, anybody on?
Start
No?
filibuster.
Alright, then Nicole, you'll do the upcoming event.
Upcoming events. Monday, February 17th, 2025 is President's Day holiday. Our office and operations will be closed. Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 will be a regular select board meeting at 6 p.m. here at the town offices. Monday, February 24th, 2025 will be a joint town and village informational meeting at 7 p.m. at the village complex. 121st Street and on Teams. February 27th, 2025 will be a DRB meeting at 6 p.m. Here at the town offices. I also want to add to that, which is not here, and if you give me just a second, I'll pull it up. The MBSD informational meeting.
Yes, that was, they sent a brochure, a
They
postcard.
did. I
coming out today, yeah.
believe it's on the 11th.
I believe it is the 11th.
Yeah, I think it was the 11th, yep.
It is Tuesday, February 11th at 7 p.m. located at the MVU library and or on Zoom. You can find that information on their webpage. Is it on our webpage as well?
It was on our Facebook.
It is on our Facebook.
Shared it this morning.
That is it.
Okay, yeah, and you should add that to our sign too, that, go to the MPU budget meeting. Outstanding job, Nicole, as usual. Is there any need for executive session?
No.
Well, then.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Alright, motion's been made to adjourn. I'm not even gonna ask for discussion, I'm just gonna ask for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, motion carried. Thank you.